Jason's the line, and we are back with another episode of the Book Man Book Study. And I want to send a shout out to all my Audible listeners, my paperback readers, my hardback readers, my Cliff Notes readers, all of y'all. If you out there, you read something. I don't care what version you read, just read something. And we are here, and we're back with none other than Doc. What's going on, big brother?
Man, what is happening? Well, I'm glad to be here tonight once again. You know, this is the highlight of the week.
Oh, yeah.
The highlight, man. Just to get in here and learn something.
Exactly. We here on Thursday, man. We want to learn, we want to teach, and all points in between. We getting deep into this book, The Way of the Superior Man. We in part 3. Some deep chapters right here, brother.
Oh, yeah, man. I mean, this, as the book goes on, it becomes a little more deep each time. And you have to, when you read it, you got to think outside of what is being said. You got to compare it to some other stuff to kind of make it all connect for you. And you'll see as we start talking about it, you can view it the way that it's written, but you also can view it a different way. And it's gonna be good, man. It's gonna be good.
Oh yeah. And I think any book, you know, the idea of any book, especially one like this, is to make you think.
Yeah.
Widen your perspective. And this book in particular, what do you call it? When it calls you out, what do you call it?
Conviction.
Yeah, this book right here is a very convicting book, and I think for all of us as men, you know, you need to listen, and the best thing you can do sometimes is figure out where you're wrong so you can correct it.
Yeah, I mean, it's very convicting. I mean, even myself, you know, I've changed some habits or how I view situations due to reading this book, and I think it's working out for the better.
Oh yeah.
Definitely. Well, man, let's go ahead and
let's get into
stuff done. But number one, the first thing we got to do, you already know what it is.
Give me my theme music. You know what it is? In the building, none other than the OG.
OG in the house, the best moderator we got on the Book of Man, been here since day one.
Yes, sir.
Day one, give him his props. All right, y'all. So here it is. As we go through this content tonight, there are a couple ways to interact with us. If you got something to say, got something to add, anything like that. First way, any stream you're watching, whether it's on YouTube or Facebook, y'all go ahead, throw a comment down in the comment section. And what we'll do is we'll see it pop up. We'll throw it up on a screen like this from OG. Say, good evening, gentlemen. If you would like for your name and picture to appear, it's a link below that. Grant StreamYard permission to show all that stuff. You'll pop right up there. Second way, if you want to get on with us, you got a whole bunch to say, and it's just too much to type, go ahead and click that first link up in the description. Or if you're on my personal page, you'll see it down in the comments. Go ahead and click that in or copy and paste it in. You can come in, we'll see you, throw you up on the screen, you just talk with us, we good to go. Other than that, Thursdays at 7 we here. Usually on Saturdays at 11 we'll have the Saturday talk, but this Saturday I won't be here because we have some family things to take care of.
Yes, sir.
But Friday,
tell them about it.
8 o'clock.
Yeah, it's going down.
It's gonna be here. The Nerd Show for now is back again. We have seen the Black Panther, and we're gonna tell y'all what we think about it. And the little mini me, he ready. That's all I'm gonna say. You ready? All right. So what we got here tonight, we're into part 3.
Yes, sir.
Part 3, working with polarity and energy. And remember earlier, I said you got to think about stuff a little different. And this is kind of talking about the masculine and the feminine energy and how it all works together and intertwines with one another. First chapter, what we have here, right on the bottom of the screen. We're in part 3, chapter 23. Your attraction to the feminine is inevitable.
Now that's a big statement.
Oh yeah.
And I need y'all to understand. He gonna break down what that means. Like, you ain't got no choice. If you're a masculine man, you don't have a choice.
you're attracted to the feminine.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna put this out here. He's not necessarily always talking about women.
No.
You see, and remember, I told you got to think about stuff differently. That's not what that's a big thing what he's talking about, but other things that are feminine. You know how, like in the Spanish language, they have L below certain things that's male, and then la in front of things that female, like that.
Yep.
But let's look at it. So he said masculine men are attracted to forms of feminine energy. These are the things he lists: radiant women, which, obvious, beer, music, nature, etc. So what I think, remember how he said about how women are, they always moving and changing, stuff like that. Those are things that do that. Music does that. Nature
Yeah.
does that.
Yep. I don't know about beer though. I don't know. I
Well,
don't...
hey, you know what? Maybe he drink the craft beer from down the street. They gotta maybe it moved. I don't know. I don't really drink like that. But hey, if he say it is, or some people it is.
Well, clearly nature, we call nature Mother Nature.
Yeah.
So that was, obvious. And I agree with the music because, music gets you moving and it gets you in the mood, so that makes perfect sense to me. The beer throwing me off, but all right, cool. I'm gonna ride with
it. Okay. So what do you say here? The first one, he say, if you are like most men, you probably hide the amount of sexual attraction you feel toward women every day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I have to work. I gotta get through the work day.
Well, think about what he said, hiding it.
Yeah, you gotta keep it. You can't express that every time you feel it. Nope. You first of all, you won't get nothing else done.
Hey, but
two, you gonna get fired. You know what I'm saying? No. It ain't gonna work out for you.
You know what? You'd be like them teenage boys. I got them teenage boys I'm teaching right now. Boy, it's like that.
Well, it's new to them.
Oh, of course. And that's what it's like. But he says there's two ways to deal with your daily of attraction to the feminine. You can either be wise about it or you can be foolish about it. And he says to respond wisely, you must understand why you are attracted to whom. And your sexual essence is always attracted to its energetic reciprocal. That's important. Masculine men are attracted to feminine women. Feminine women are attracted to masculine men. Balanced men are attracted to balanced women. So I like what he said there because he covered everybody.
Yeah.
And really, it's not about being a real man or masculine man, all of that. It's just you are usually attracted to what's opposite from you.
Yep.
And that's just it. He also says that 80% of all men have a more masculine sexual essence. And those men are attracted to feminine.
Yep.
So, that's just what it is. So he's setting us up here. Know what you're attracted to and why. And as we move through these chapters, he's going to say a whole lot more.
Yeah, I think so far this has been pretty obvious. He's about to get into some further details. We've all heard and we all know opposites attract. I think what he says moving forward about the balance on balance is very interesting.
Yeah, but then you know what? I think that balanced people are balanced in different ways. I guess we need to talk about that because he talked about being a balanced person in one of the previous chapters.
Yeah.
But that's a person who has both masculine and feminine energies. They just kind of in the middle. They don't go too far on one or the other. So those balanced people are attracted to one another.
Right.
I mean, it's neutral to neutral.
Yeah. But it's interesting. When we get to that point in the chapters, we'll talk about it. But it's interesting how he breaks that down. Because I was thinking something totally different, but then when he broke it down, it made sense. But I think figuring out what type of person you are, which he talks about earlier in the book, is vital by the time you get here.
Yeah, you're gonna have to know. because then that'll tell you who you are attracted to and why.
Right.
Mm.
And I think for a lot of men probably reading this book, they probably had a hard time, for the men who may not have as masculine an essence, probably had a
Right.
hard time accepting that they may have a feminine essence.
Yeah. And you know what? And honestly, according to this book, that's still, and I'm gonna say it according to me too, that's still, you still a man.
Yeah.
You are still a man. But what's happening these days, instead of a lot of young men accepting that I'm a man, they say I'm something else.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you can have that energy. You can be a feminine man, but you still a man.
Right. I agree with that. And I think which isn't really covered, well, it is covered a little bit. You can have certain things that you approach from a feminine perspective and
Yep.
other things that you approach from a masculine perspective. It's not that you don't have feminine or masculine, because we all have both.
Mm-hmm.
It's the degree
Yeah.
to which it is. And I think that's the part that is difficult, especially for a lot of young men. They're like, oh, is something wrong with me because I feel like I approach it from more of a feminine perspective. Nah, nothing ain't wrong with you. You just approach that from a feminine perspective. Meanwhile, you approach something else from a masculine perspective. So it's just, you just got to figure out who you really are, and you got to take the time to discover that.
I mean, perfect example. Working in the school system. What happens is, um, I have to deal with all the troubled kids, especially when they're in crisis. They're in crisis, stuff happening. Yeah, I got to go get them. And in the past, I would go in there, and what the lady teachers would expect, they would want me to jack them up, drag them out the classroom, and don't bring them back. Beat them up, do whatever. When I go in there and talk to them, they think something wrong. That's more of a feminine kind of thing, but I'm a masculine person. And that was the issue. But once you get comfortable with that, like, all right, this is how I do stuff. I don't do it like that. Once you start doing that, then you being your own superior man.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Jamel said, Jamel, I'm gonna have to make you a thing, bro. Make you a sound, but I'm working on it. Had a friend once struggle with that. He was confident in his sexuality, but everyone else was trying to force him into other ABCs, if you know what I mean.
I can see that happening. I definitely can see that in today's society, that happening, rather than just saying, oh, that's a man with some feminine characteristics, that automatically force them into the LGBT, into the alphabet people.
Mm-hmm.
And then meanwhile, we don't do that with women at all.
No, not at all. Not at all. That doesn't, I don't know, bro. It's just the world today eludes me. It eludes me, man. I'd be lost.
I was talking to somebody today. There's an older gentleman that just started working with us in the last. When I say older, I just mean older than me. He's like in his 60s, and it's a white man, and he got a lot of old school ideals.
Okay.
And not anything racial or anything, but just in the way he handled business, the way he moved. I said, hey man, that man's a relic.
Yeah.
He's the story of a time that this country no longer even wants.
Mm-hmm. They don't want people like him no more.
You know what I'm saying? So, and I said, realistically, I was talking to another guy, both of us in our early 40s. I said, we ain't that far behind. They don't.
No.
Men like us, this world doesn't want to build men like us anymore.
I already realized that. Yeah. Dealing with the stuff with the nerds, showing these movies and stuff like that, and talking to my kids. Oh yeah.
Yeah, the world.
My daughter hit me onto that months ago, and when I realized it and accepted what she was saying, I was like, okay, I felt much better.
The world isn't trying to build men like us anymore.
Jamel said he's happily married to a woman who's a bit more masculine than average, but it works. Exactly, and that's what these next couple chapters talks about. That.
Yep.
He winning. He is winning. So he says here, if you feel uncomfortable with your attraction to women, then you probably are uncomfortable with your own masculine essence.
Mm.
If you feel it is demeaning for a woman to be the object of your polar attraction, then you have probably disowned your masculine core. Then he says this, he used the words energetically emasculated yourself.
Yeah, because you denying. I think anytime you deny something that is a core part of you,
Mhm.
you really shorten yourself.
Right.
You know, especially for a thing that's not just at face value a negative thing. Like, okay, if you want to hurt somebody, okay, yeah, that's something you got to fight against or whatever. Even if that's your natural nature is to want to be violent, that's something
Mhm.
you would have to fight against. But if your natural nature is to be attracted to a woman, there's nothing wrong with that. That's how mankind has continued to exist.
That's how we perpetuate the species.
Right.
But
So,
but look at this though. But the thing is, um, when I read this, I thought about toxic masculinity
mm,
and what they're doing with that and the way they're using the words and applying it to everything. It's boys out there that don't want to be men at all
right.
because of that.
Yeah, because if you grow up in a society where the idea of what you're going to become is negative, if the overall overarching idea, if you're a boy, you will one day become a man,
Mm.
physically anyway. If the idea perpetuated society of a man is one of negativity, that is not something you're going to want to be.
No,
That's
not
it's,
if you're trying to be good
right. And
at
so
all.
that's why it's so important for men as fathers to be actively involved in the lives of their sons and show them an everyday image of a man being a good person and a good man.
And how to do it.
Yeah.
How to do it, what it looks like, and being okay with yourself.
Yep.
Um, so as you move on, he talks about um if you are a man with a masculine sexual essence, you will always feel sexual polarity with anyone that animates feminine energy. That's kind of like those people you come across, ladies and women that's incredibly feminine, and it just kind of it catch something with you.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But
Absolutely. There's certain
mm,
women can walk into a room and the whole energy of the room will change and be lighter
mhm.
just
Now,
because she's in the room.
is that something that they practice, or is it natural to some people and other people have to practice it?
I think the ones where it's truly effective kind of born with it.
Hmm.
Like you can, or I don't know.
And it's not
I
like,
don't.
okay, and I'm gonna say this. He says that sexual attraction, however, is very different than having sex.
Yes.
It's a big difference between choosing to be intimate with a woman and simply being attracted to her energy and radiance.
Yes. I
There
agree
you
with that.
go. There you go. And I thought about the what you were saying just now. We talked about the people who just is natural and they have that attraction and they're not trying to be sexual with it. They
No.
just being them.
Yeah. I believe that he refers to feminine radiance. Some
Yes.
some women exude that far more than others.
Hmm. But
And
again,
some women exude it at all times. Some women have to put on to exude it.
right.
You know, some women, don't really exude it at all. But it's when you're around it, and for me, it's very comforting.
Yeah. But then think about this. Think about what Jamel was talking about earlier, though. So for somebody that has less masculine energy, the person who radiates that feminine stuff won't work for them.
That's true.
That's what he's talking about. Think about, okay, now it's all connected. When he said knowing why you are attracted to whom you're attracted to.
Mm-hmm.
So that person you're talking about had low masculine energy, had a more masculine woman, and he was attracted to her.
Right.
That's why. That is why. So knowing that is paramount. I guess it's once you know why something is, it makes it easier to accept, and it
Yes.
makes you all right with what you got going on.
People are afraid of what they don't know.
Um, and then he also says this, and I like this part. He says intimacy is a choice between people who want to commit to loving and serving one another. Yeah, I want to sit right there for a second.
That's a nice. Say that one more time, Doc.
Intimacy is a choice between people who want to commit to loving and serving one another. He said, "Oh,
That's it. That's it right there. That's he just balled relationships up real nice just now.
well, but it's a choice."
Yeah.
And that's something my wife and I talk about. Um, we always talk about, yeah, if something bad happened, what will we do? When stuff was rough, what we was thinking about. And for us, divorce just wasn't an option. That's not something we ever entertained for us. And that was a choice that we made.
Right.
It's a choice to love and serve one another. That's the part that I'm honing in on, the serving part. Because you have to serve one another. If you're focused on the other person and they're focused on you, everybody gonna be straight.
Yeah.
Everybody gonna be straight.
And I mean, you hope that's how your relationship is. That as much as you're serving somebody, that they're serving you, and you hope that's equal. Even though we all know at certain times one person's going to be giving more than the other, and other times
Yeah.
it's going to flip. It's probably rarely going to be equal, and that's one of those things that can kind of make or break a relationship if one person is always the one putting in.
Yeah. But what I see though is that we have different measures of putting in and
Yep.
different categories that we put in.
Correct. That's hence
Some
the
of
love
us,
languages.
well, I mean, even from the standpoint of, okay, I put into this relationship because I'm paying the bills, I keep the stuff afloat, I make sure you got food, shelter, clothes, I do all that. But then she may be thinking like, okay, I put everything into the relationship because I make sure, that we do this, that we spend time together, we do this and that. But you got to
That's
look at it
called
as a collective.
that's called you have to learn to appreciate what people do.
That's right.
What you sometimes what you value, the other person may not be able to or understand that's what you need or what's to give.
Yeah.
So can you appreciate what they are giving you, or do you need to step away or do something different because you're just not getting what you need from a relationship? It may not mean that person is a bad person or you're a bad person. Just that the way that person loves, this might not be what you respond to.
Right.
And the way,
That's
and
why
it's
you
like,
got to make the choice.
yeah,
Make a good choice up front, which, well, that's the next chapter. So I'm gonna hit this last little piece and we can move to the next chapter. He always talks about what to do. This is important because this is why a lot of dudes get messed up and they get in trouble because they don't listen to this advice. He said, next time you come upon a woman who sends a thrill through your body, relax into the thrill. Let her waves of feminine energy run through your body like a deep massage. Breathe fully without resisting the joy her sighting affords you. Breathe the joy through all your body down to your toes. Don't stare at her. Don't even interact with her. But when you see her, you experience her attraction fully. Allow the energy of attraction to move freely through your body. Learn to magnify and sustain your desire so your whole body and breath open and deepen with its force. As you behold her, receive her vision as a blessing. So you ain't got to chase her. You ain't got
nope.
that. You ain't got to chase her. You see her there. Oh, okay. And like, oh, that's a womanly woman, very feminine. She got a good personality. You can enjoy all that stuff.
Yeah.
But stop it right there. That's why I said dudes be getting in trouble. They
Yeah.
messing themselves up.
Well, it's back to knowing the time and the place.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it ain't always the time to you know, it ain't always the time to figure out if she like you like that.
Okay.
It ain't always that's not available at all times, especially not in the post Me Too movement.
Oh
Watch
no, you
yourself.
getting yourself messed up.
Yeah. So, but it is okay to enjoy it. It's okay to take a glance and or not even so much. Even if it ain't about looking, sometimes it's about the attitude.
That's right.
Sometimes it can be something as simple, as a touch or a smell. A
Yeah.
woman could walk in with a certain smell, and you'd be like, "Whoa!" It'll make you think twice. Make you do a double take.
That's right.
So all of that matters. And we as individuals, as men, you still gotta again back to 48 laws of power. You gotta have some self control.
Yeah, and that's it. And he talks about that before. Acting on that desire and pursuing her is another matter entirely.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's it. You just well, shoot, I ain't pursued a different woman in 2 decades. I'm good.
You're out the game, Doc.
Man, look,
you can't you don't want to get back in this thing out here. It's
uh-uh.
ugly out here.
Look, bro, I got out of the game, and the game didn't change. Your boy
All
ain't coming
around.
back. Look, if my wife die, I'm just gonna be by myself.
It's over with.
Bro, that's it. I'm done. If she die, that's it.
You ain't even trying, Doc.
You know what? I gotta die first. How about that?
I respect that. I ain't mad at you, Doc. It's ugly out here.
So, well, look at this. Chapter 24. Choose a woman who is your complementary opposite. This is what we talked about. Making sure you choose the right person.
Yeah,
Now,
he's gonna break some stuff down in this chapter. I know you got to read over, but this is interesting to me. This was very interesting on this one.
yep, and this is stuff we always been saying. We've been saying this from the jump. This would be the advice I would give the young men. Right? This chapter is it. This is the advice you give a young man who's trying to find himself a wife or something like that. If a man is very masculine by nature, then he will be attracted to a very feminine woman who will complement his energy. The more neutral or balanced he is, the more balanced he will prefer his wife. And if a man is more feminine by nature, his energy will be complemented by the strong direction and purposefulness of a more masculine woman. Then to say, by understanding their own needs, men can learn to accept the whole package of a woman. For instance, a more masculine man can expect that any woman who really turns him on and enlivens him will also be relatively wild, undisciplined, bonkers, chaotic, prone to changing her minds and lying. Which he said that with quotation marks, which is all the stuff we talked about in the previous chapters.
Right.
And still, from the energetic perspective, this kind of woman will be much more healing and inspiring into him than a more balanced or neutral woman who is steady, reasonable, and trustworthy, and able to say what she means in a way he can understand. So you're going to be attracted to the opposite of yourself.
I agree with that. And I think that's a lesson a lot of men learn slowly.
Mm-hmm.
Because you will try to go off of appearance and other things like that before you start getting into, like we should talk about here, essence and all that kind of good stuff. Just getting into, we go with the physical before we get into
the other
emotional
stuff
and the intimate.
That's right. That's right. So Jamel saying, short, he made someone for everyone. Every positive got a negative. Every yin got a yang.
Well, I don't know that. I don't know if that math, but I mean, we hope he made someone for everyone.
Hey, they might be across the world.
That's true. If Savannah ain't got but 140,000 people, your person might not be amongst that 140,000.
They might be somewhere else.
8 billion in the world. Somebody out there for you, hopefully. But then we ain't gonna get into that. We're gonna keep talking.
Yeah. But that's a lot of what he's been talking about. And it was too much to highlight here. But here's the one question: why can't a woman be more like a man? What many men have wondered. But I mean, you got a masculine essence, so masculine and masculine don't really match.
I don't think I've ever asked why women can't be more like a man. I don't think I've ever asked that one. I think I've asked why she got to act like that,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't think I ever wanted a woman to act like me.
I wonder if he talking more about making decisions, the conversation, being logical.
Yeah, I understand that, but yeah, I've never myself requested that of a woman. That's what I'm saying. Like I've never expected or wished a woman would be more like that.
Mm-mm.
I but yes, I have asked why is she the way she is. Now that I'm sure every man has asked.
Mm.
You know
That's kind
what
of
the
why
hell?
we here.
Yeah, what in the hell made her do
that's
that?
how we. That's how
Yeah,
we ended up here today.
yeah. I don't know what in the world made her do that. We definitely do that, but I don't know if I ever said why can't she be more like a man?
But you know what though? But you would not want to have somebody that's just like you.
Right.
That wouldn't work. That would, because you know what? It's like if you got somebody that's co-signing everything you say, even when you wrong, you're gonna be even more wrong. If it's somebody that different, got a different viewpoint, all of that, you can avoid the pitfalls.
Yeah.
They give you the game in a different way. And you got to find somebody that complements you in that way.
Yes.
And that's the issue.
Yeah, I think the goal is to find someone that fills in the holes, fills in your holes. Not the, that's how you become one, because y'all filling in each other's holes.
And he say here, you're always attracted to your sexual reciprocal. If y'all don't remember elementary and middle school math, reciprocal is when you have a fraction and you flip it over and it's the opposite.
Yep.
Reciprocal. Somebody who is an opposite. And he talk a lot about the neutral person. There we go. It's like yin and yang.
Yep.
There we go.
Absolutely.
Um, so he talks about through lack of understanding, you might have depolarized yourself and your partner into a relationship that seems neutral, but it actually isn't. Only about 10% of couples are actually the neutral or balanced type in their true essence. Another 10% are made up of feminine man and a masculine woman, but 80% of the couples have a masculine man, feminine woman. And that is her feminine way frustrates you, drives you crazy, inspires you, or turns you on more often than she is simply your sexually neutral buddy. So
Mm-hmm.
again, he's saying it's more than just sex with people. It's how
Oh
you
yeah.
interact with them.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's missing with a lot of young people today. They're not looking at how you interact together with somebody.
Well, I think that's young people throughout history.
Mm,
Uh, and I think the term or the idea of what a young person is at an older age than ever before. Like
mm,
I know they consider the youth, they consider you a youth all the way up to 25.
yeah.
You know, at one point when you was 18, by the time you made 18, historically, at one point by the time you made 18, you was a grown man.
Yeah,
That
that
was
was it.
off with your own farm and out your family house and all that kind of stuff at 18 before. Now at
Yeah.
18, people don't expect much from you at all. So I think the what we consider a young person has changed. So the length of time which we stay in a young mind has changed as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would agree. I would agree. They have extended childhood, but at the same time, taking away childhood. It's like the what's childhood has moved up and what was.
Well, I think they've extended adolescence.
Yeah. Okay. That's a
Child,
better way to put it.
yeah, childhood is has been reduced, and adulthood has been reduced, and adolescence has been extended. Adolescence started at 10 instead of teenage years now.
Yeah, that's it.
And
That's
it
it.
goes to 27, 28 instead of 18
Yeah, you're right.
or 21.
You are right. So Jamel said the biggest problem with young people is that they don't know who they are, just what they aren't. Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
Hey, that's it. They don't know who they are. And I mean that's what this book talking about. Um, knowing that it's okay to be a man. It's okay.
it's not okay. It's necessary. Jordan Peterson.
You got to be a monster.
Yeah,
You just got to know how to control it.
yeah. And
Um,
and man, does that on my own personal note, when I first heard that,
mm,
uh, it resonated with me so much because I used to call myself a monster, and I was
uh,
absolutely not in control of it. And I feel much better today knowing that I was always right. I really was a monster. The difference is I just learned to control it.
that's right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and call it now. Y'all might disagree, but 12 rules for life coming up after this.
There it is. There it is. That's one of my favorites. I don't mind jumping
we
back into
going
that one.
we gonna do 12 rules to life right after this because I think that that's a good one to move to. So Jamel said they permanently set the teenager and they start off 4 or 5 and it just goes until yeah,
He's not wrong.
no,
I
not
think
in the least.
I think we through these devices introduce our children to the world way too young.
Hmm.
They have more access than any point in the history of the world. I mean, 100 years ago, 200 years ago, all you knew was your hometown.
That's it.
Everything else was a guess. You could read about it in a book.
That was it. You know nothing else.
Nothing else. Now, you don't have to go anywhere. You can see the entire world or a version of the
Yeah.
entire world sitting in your living room on your phone.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And you interact with the people from all over.
Right.
That happens. That definitely happens. So he says here, the false neutralization or depolarization of relationships is one of the main reasons couples break up.
Mm.
You hadn't picked somebody that matched with you.
Yeah.
You going off the physical stuff. You got to pick somebody that's your complementary.
Yeah.
But then he said that the secret is not to try to change a woman's irritating feminine ways. He talks about that a lot in the beginning of the book. But help cultivate the depth and rejuvenate the power of her feminine blessings. That go back to them 2 chapters we talked about before. 1, you can't change them, and then 2, how to get them to do what you want to do. Got to keep praising them.
Yep.
So he keep looping back. And I mean, in this chapter, he got a few things in here. But basically, is pick somebody who compliments you. And now I mean compliment is telling you look good or you strong or handsome every day. But somebody who is the
Well, you can do that too now. You can do that too. I sure appreciate it if you would.
we'll take it.
We'll take it. You want to compliment me every day, I sure will take it. Thank you very much.
So yeah, man, but that's about it for the chapter, man. I mean, we can go in depth some more. It's a lot here. It's a lot to listen to or read, but that's pretty much what he's saying. Take your time and pick.
And I think this is the chapter where he talks about the neutral and neutral will fizzle each other out or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah, that was interesting to me because when I first thought about the concept, I was like, well, if a neutral person finds a neutral person, they're gonna have peace. It's gonna be a peaceful thing. But then he says you eventually become like roommates.
Yes. That's it.
So
you're a little bit too neutral.
Right. What that leads me to say, if you neutral, are you just stuck? Because if you're neutral, if you are neutral and you find a feminine woman, is that going to appeal to you? Are you going to end up bringing her to neutral, which is not what you want? Or, if you find a more masculine woman, are you going to end up bringing her to neutral and still end up fizzling the relationship no matter what? If you are in a neutral place, can you win? Do you have to be on one of the poles?
but look though, what he always say, you don't change her.
Right.
If you are, this is especially dangerous if you are neutral. Then if you're neutral, that means that you can get somebody that's more masculine, more feminine, or you want somebody else that's neutral too. But don't change them to your brand of neutral. Just accept who they are and cultivate that. So I guess to answer that question, that's what they have to do. They can't try to change them
Right.
because that could spell disaster.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm like, that's a weird place. Because at first I thought neutral would be the best place to be in, but
Mm-hmm.
from the information here in this chapter, neutral's the worst place to be in.
Yeah, I mean, but think about though, as a man, if you're a masculine man and you've changed to become a neutral, what does that mean? That the world and beat you up to a point where you didn't stuff down your masculine stuff? Cause that, and I think that's why he took the time to say that in the beginning. That it's okay to be a man, basically.
Yeah.
So I mean, this, wow, man, this some deep stuff, bro.
Oh yeah.
But you just got to be happy where you are. All right, so here's the question: you want to go ahead and hit 25, or you want to save it? Where you at?
Oh, we got 15 minutes. Let's knock it out.
All right, 15 minutes. Bam, here we go. Chapter 25. Know what's important in your woman.
Mm,
Um,
that's
Now
deep.
this is big. This is big. Know what's important in your woman.
That's
All right,
deep.
here.
This go ahead. This one heavy.
The more masculine a man is, the more his woman's feminine energy, as opposed to other qualities, will be important to him.
Right.
Um, Now I like this part. He says here, the more you seek a woman who gives you everything, the less you get of anything.
Hmm. That's interesting.
Um, so he goes on to say business skills are for the most part masculine skills in both men and women. Friendship in itself is neutral, and sexual passion requires a clear polarity between your masculine core and your woman's feminine energy. When you don't prioritize the purpose of your relationship, these different energies will cancel each other out, and you are left with a sexually neutralized alliance. Those are people who want partners. They don't. I want my
Yeah.
partner.
Yeah. And
So
we all see how that goes.
what I'm getting out of this is define y'all. You have to define what the relationship going to be.
Yeah.
You got to define it first. Um, So he said you can share many aspects of intimacy, business, friendship, parenting, and sexual passion only if you choose a single priority to the relationship and allow the other activities to align themselves around your main purpose for being together. I'm gonna hit it on that one
Yeah. I
because
think.
you got, yeah, pick a thing
Yeah.
that you want, both of y'all agree on, and
Yep.
everything else go around that.
And as much as we like to say, oh, in today's society, the gender roles have to be fluid.
Hmm.
I think this goes to say, to some degree, you got to have this what you do as a man or as a masculine, and this
Yeah.
what you do as a feminine.
Yes.
Uh, regardless of the sex or whatever, because clearly the polarity matters,
Oh yeah.
especially sexually.
But I mean, look at this. He said, if you aren't clear about what's important, though, each aspect will conflict with the others. You asking for trouble if you
Yeah.
don't set that in the beginning. For
Well, this,
example, I mean, I would say, if y'all together and really you like how y'all work together and do business, y'all doing business together, all that. Um, Everything else gonna suffer. Parenting, because you know y'all want to be parents sometimes and then be be
entrepreneurs,
business partners other times.
yeah.
So
You, I think, yeah. Sometimes we try to make because we have a good relationship with someone in one aspect or in one area, we try to make it seem like it's going to be a good relationship in another one, and it's not. Like some couples can work together and have a business together, and it's fine.
Yep.
Others can't. Others can have a great relationship, but they ever tried to work together to end the whole thing.
It won't work. Or they they didn't mess around and quit.
Quit the business and quit the relationship.
But this is what I put in my notes here at the side. She is not your best friend.
No.
And the first time I told my wife that, it kind of shook her a little bit. But then once she realized that's because she, my wife was feeling guilty because she wasn't like my best friend and I wasn't her best friend.
It ain't her job.
And that's what I told her. I said, you ain't supposed to be my best friend. But on TV and all, they tell you that, oh, that's my best friend. People, and I think people be saying that, but they don't mean it. They don't, they just be saying it because it sound good. But yeah, my wife not my best friend because she my wife, and that's a whole nother thing.
Yep.
And this is the dangerous part of it. He says, over time, sexual polarity and attraction will diminish. So if you don't set that up front, the stuff that you're attracted you to them is going to decrease. And they say you will begin eyeing other women as sources of rejuvenative feminine delight. That's going to make you wander around.
Yep. And I think that happens in a lot of relationships. I think people tend to think men in particular, cheat for sex.
Mm-hmm.
And this, to me, shows it's not about sex. It's about energy.
Yeah.
A woman could be having sex with a man every night, and he might still cheat because she may also treat him like trash.
Right.
And he's out looking for a different type of energy more than just some sex.
Yeah, and that's true. I mean, but then I guess the big thing is, and I guess this goes back to the last chapter or the first chapter we talked about, knowing why you are attracted to something or someone.
Yep.
And if you know why, then you know why you feel that way, why this stuff is going the way it is going. And it's important to know that, because I think people just don't have any idea. They're just doing it. I mean, hey, I think I lucked up. God looked out for me and said, all right, here you go. I got married at an early age, so I've been out of the game. But not everybody got to experience that.
Nope. It is what it is, Yeah, I am a huge proponent of family.
Mm-hmm.
Man, woman, children, building a family. So I love to see it.
Right.
But I can understand in today's society why it's so hard for people to find, and even if they do find it, to maintain it. Because the world will give you a million reasons to, the world will give you a million reasons to leave somebody you with.
Oh, definitely.
Any excuse to make you think it ain't gonna work or it ain't gonna be real. And that's why I like something like this book, because it's giving men some tools they can use to maintain and keep these relationships that we need.
So to answer that, what you just said, what we read earlier, intimacy is a choice between people who want to commit to loving and serving one another. If you commit to that, it'll be all right. I guess people had a problem with when Kevin Samuels used to say that being married was about duty.
It is. It is.
But you do that, then the other stuff come with it.
We'll get a job and we'll dedicate ourselves to the job no matter what. Mm-hmm. But we'll get in a relationship, and at the first time it ain't sweet, we want to run. Meanwhile, the man at the job talk to you like scrambled dog shit. You keep going back every day.
Hold on. Hold on. You saw, what was that again?
We'll leave the relationship, and the first sign of trouble, But the man at the job treat you like scrambled dog shit, and you go back every day. Keep waking up early in the a.m. Struggle to get out of the bed. Show up every day faithfully.
Right, it's scrambled.
That's pretty low, right?
Oh shoot! Hey, that's
pretty low.
Oh, how you gonna have something you didn't mixed up? Oh shoot!
What your brother LeVon say? Look at it. Sneeze one time.
Hey, you out of there.
You're out of there.
Hey.
Well, they, you know what I'm saying? But every day they go to work and mistreat you. You complain. You ever been on the job and that one person that was there when you got there complain about the job every day, but when you quit and find you something else, they still there?
Okay, they ain't going nowhere.
That's quit every week.
Hey, I'm gonna wait it out. They ain't gonna stay here long.
But that same person ain't made a relationship work none of their life. But they hate the job every day.
Oh boy, that is funny. All right, here we go. Oh, hey Fritz. Hey, we was on part 3. We did chapter 23, 24, and this is 25. Yeah. Hey, did Jamel say, I think women are encouraged to abandon ship by how comfortable the government makes their landing.
Absolutely. It's a good deal. Dr. T. Hassan Johnson did a whole series about this. I'm not going to go into it, but it makes perfect sense why women have some of the standards that they have, which may seem unreasonable, but from their perspective, financially anyway, it makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah.
It also explains why as women 39 and 40 still trying to have babies.
Yep. Hey, Fritz said he can't argue. Boy, Fritz, you already know. But you know what? I think this stuff happens, and again, I think I've been one of the blessed ones that I don't have to deal with it. And for the other people that's like that, you know, he talked about turning your woman into a neutral companion. You talked about this earlier. And oh goodness, he said he living it. Well, we here for you, bro. We here.
Hey, you know,
we here.
Hey, we all go. It's supposed to be cuffing season, but I feel like it's breaking season.
Okay. That's what I'm saying. Oh, it ain't cuffing season ain't start. It ain't cold enough yet.
It ain't cold. You ain't been up in Atlanta. 33 is cold enough.
Okay. Look, I grew up with my dad saying it's cheaper to keep her.
He ain't lying. Zero lies told.
Yep, that's why I'm here. Yeah, man, Fritz. That's why we started all this, man, to support one another, to hold each other up. Because we all done been there at some point. One point or another. We done all been where you are now.
We all needed a little help, a little encouragement. As a matter of fact, and I meant to talk about this earlier when we first got in. I got a guy. It's a guy at my job, man. I've become friends with. One of his cousins going through. They're struggling in their marriage right now, and they are. Him and another one of the family members are getting on the plane, flying down, gonna have a guy's weekend to try to help him save his marriage. That's the kind we need. That's the kind of thing we need more of as men.
Yes. Well, you know, we talked about doing a men's kind of thing. So, hey.
You know, and I told him, I said, man, you should be, that's a big thing, man. You know, I support that. You know, you guys are doing a good thing to try to help each other and figure out, because a lot of times, like we've always talked about on this channel, man, a lot of guys feel like they're alone and they struggle.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't realize they don't know they have people to talk to. They don't know they're not alone, and they suffering in silence. When a conversation might have saved everything.
Exactly, and that's where the other stuff come from. You know, I'm a big champion of the suicide rate. You know, when you feel like you can't win. And that's why we here. Now, well, Vaughn said he just turned his heat on.
Hey, because it's cuffing season. It's getting cold out there.
No, yeah, he turned his heat on because if you don't know, I'm still in the single lane. He done been a bachelor for the past 25 years. And I know it because I done been there. I'm telling you. So he turned the heat on, so he ain't got to worry about that. Fritz said it took me a long time to learn that lesson. You know, it's more in the very beginning. That's true. All right. Now, you know the women not going to go for that because they know what they do on them girls' trips.
You know what it is. That's exactly what it is. That's why they was talking about today too, man. He was telling me, everybody wife asking 1,000, what y'all gonna be doing? Where y'all going? Hey man, listen, we don't do all that planning. We just show up.
Man, you know what's gonna happen.
Step our feet on the ground and say the boys is here.
The dudes go on a trip. This is what they gonna do. They're gonna go see a game. They're gonna do something like that. If you drink, they're gonna go to the bar, sit up with each other and talk and laugh. Go back to the room and gotta get something to eat. Because it's gonna be good food being had.
Yeah, guess what them boys doing, man? Them boys going to get tattoos. That's it. They're going to get tattoos. That's what they doing.
Okay.
They're going to get tattoos, go get something to eat, and grill. That's it. That's all they plan on doing. They got to do
the grilling part, man. I ain't probably ain't getting no tattoos, but I'm gonna get something to eat and grill with you.
Yeah.
So wait, that's the circle that everyone needs to put you on a plane for intervention.
Yeah.
Yes, we can, but we can build that. We can build that. We just have to build it and have to realize that we're not by ourselves. Avance ain't been 25 years. It's been 22 years.
He say respect his 22.
It's been 22.
Respect his 22, man. I respect that, brother. Hey.
We're just laughing. Oh, man. Grill is therapy. Yes, sir.
It is. Yes, it is.
Smoke some meats. Jamel said my friend's going to the DR for a guy's trip. He had to decline. That's dangerous over there.
No, sir. It's not dangerous. We as gentlemen, we can get together and go on a trip and just hang out and have a good time. It don't always have to be extra stuff. The ladies say they go out and they have a good time with themselves. They don't have to involve us. We can go out and have a good time. Don't involve them. I don't know. Listen, we're not doing that. We're not. Hey, them boys going down to DR to drink and have a good time and enjoy themselves. They're not gonna mess with no women down there. Also, hey fellas, where y'all going so I can come.
Now, you know, boy, Damien, the men and their family and stuff, they get together, they rent a cabin up there in Tennessee or whatever, and they just have the men time, you know, and that's important, man, because you can get there and say, you know what? Because you know what, always gonna get to that point. Bruh, this is the problem I'm having. Oh, what y'all think about that? Gotta have that.
Yeah.
But he said they mostly single and plan on mingling hard, so he had to stay.
They supposed to do that. They supposed to do that.
Look, I'm with him.
Hey,
Jamel married and got a couple kids.
He
ain't doing that.
He don't need to do that.
It's dangerous because we forgot we gotten older and we do dumb stuff and get hurt.
That can happen as well.
That was the show the other week when you found out you was old.
Yeah, and on a guy's trip ain't when you want to find out.
Okay,
that's not when you want to find out that you done got old.
You think you still can do it? Well, man, you got anything else on this? Because I think we took a good direction talking about that because that's something that's important, and that's what this is leading to.
I'm gonna say this, fellas. You know, figure out, as we always say, figure out who you are and find out what complements that, and rest in that. It's okay, whatever it is, whether it's the masculine, the feminine, you turned on or not turned on, whatever it is, rest in that and be confident with it, and go after what makes you happy and get your life sound and right. Get your life sound and right. You know.
Yes, and it sound. You know what? This book has been building a man piece by piece every chapter.
Right.
Because what you said just resonated with the beginning of the book about finding your edge and purpose and all of that. And it all start with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
It don't start with the women because everything here is let her be her. Don't try to change her. Don't try to do none of that.
Right.
You just
you got to figure out who you are. Figure out who you are, and then get you a woman that fits in that. It don't say
exactly.
Yeah, it doesn't say figure out who she is and then match yourself to it. That's a lose-lose.
Oh yeah, because she gonna change, and you didn't match to something she was, and she didn't flip the script and change.
Yeah.
So you got to be you, man. All right, man. So you got any more last words? Anybody got any last words?
No, that's it, man. I'm good. Yep. I feel like these are good chapters, man, and a lot to think about, a lot to process. What you got, Doc?
Ooh. All right, man. But y'all look, coming up next week. Listen to this. Next chapter 26 says, you will often want more than one woman. Now, you know what he's saying and how he writes stuff. It's usually something else to it.
Don't tell nobody, Doc.
Ooh, that 27 is tough too, but he explained it. It sounds real creepy once you read it, but when he explained it.
Listen, I will give 48 laws of power and the way of the superior man. Man, heavy points for the titles to the chapters.
You know? Yeah. Hey, so last thing for me is that I am old and I do dumb stuff.
And on that note, thank you guys for joining us. So please come back next week for another episode of the Brooklyn Man. We're gonna be off this Saturday. I gotta run around. Doc gotta run around doing some of the stuff that we talk about right here on this show.
Oh yeah.
You know, about men being men. So we appreciate you joining us. You know, we're getting deep into this book. We're moving on to the next book. We ain't gonna stop. We love you.
Hey, hold on. Tomorrow, 8:00, y'all gotta come because we're gonna talk about this Wakanda Forever. And the boy gonna be with me, and he is loaded and ready to go. Let's do it.
Yes, sir. We're gonna talk about it tomorrow. I might have to jump in and dive in on y'all boy for a few minutes. Even though I might be driving around 8:00, we'll make it happen.
For sure. All right, y'all. Be easy.
All right. Good night.